almost there.
Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron Channel. I'm Steve Sean. What are you doing? I started doing my intro for my normal videos. I'm a little bit confused. We got a guest here. We got Buddy Boy. Welcome to Massive Iron Live. It's Friday, September 9th. You know, after you do like 3,000 videos, you kind of do the same spiel sometime. And you're like, what reality am I in? You know, what reality am I in? This is Buddy Boy. This is my new puppy. He's my new buddy. And he just wants to be held all day. I don't blame him. You know, it's a rough life. So appreciate you guys joining me. Here every Friday at 11 Eastern. And if you're new here, there are no dumb questions, no stupid questions, just awkward questions, weird questions, and questions we probably wish we hadn't heard. Just kidding. So if you're new here, post up a question. Don't be shy. If your question doesn't go through, just simply try shortening it, or hit me up on Instagram at Ben the Barman. Slide into my DM. Let me see if I can get that up there. There you go. Sometimes YouTube throttles questions, so if your question doesn't get posted, just try again. Try shortening it. No, it's not me throttling you, and it's gonna be a struggle bus day. My sinuses are killing me, really, really bad. Can't breathe, hard to speak. So we're gonna fight through it today. So let me know where you guys are tuned in from, what you got going on, and a reminder: if you post a question before 11 a.m. before live starts, you get a chance to win a free T-shirt and hoodie. And occasionally I'll forget to mention that. I'll forget to mention the winner. So if I do, just poke me and prod me. So how's everybody doing? A few things going on in my world. And we have a topic for today. And I'll get into that just shortly. But over here, right there, Massive Iron, protein powder and creatine. I got those available at superlivingtoday.com. I only make a couple bucks off. I'm not looking to, make a fortune. But if you're interested in those, just check it out. This camera angle is making me feel small. It's making my shoulders look narrow, making my traps look small. I got some kind of a mental disorder today. I feel small. So anyway, check that out. Before we dive into things, I wanted to talk a little bit about, progression without obsession. Yesterday on Team Massive, I asked folks, what would you like me to talk about leading into today's live? And if you're wondering, I got my puppy right there. He's just sitting in there in my lap. What would you like me to talk about headed into Team Live? And basically, a couple guys asked, how do you progress? Let me pull up the. Let me pull up the specific question here. So, how to learn to focus on progression without obsessing about it. And wow, that's a tough question to answer. How do you focus on obsession or progression without obsessing about it? I guess there's different levels of obsession. Number one, being passionate about it is not a bad thing. For me, I was always passionate just about lifting, and I didn't, you have to kind of look at the big picture when you're in the gym and look at, your 5 or 6 or whatever exercises and see how many plus ones you're getting in general. And you walk away with 2, 3, 4, 5 plus ones. That's a good day. That's progress. Obsession can be a bad thing. Where you feel like you're a failure, if you're not adding a rep, and that's misguided. That's impatience. That's not reality. You can't add a rep every week. That's not reality. Signing up for coaching isn't going to ensure you get a rep each week. That's not reality. Reality is, fighting, going in there and fighting for things, being passionate and fighting for things, fighting for those plus ones, wanting them, being desperate for them, but to be patient and just really enjoying your workouts and being consistent and grinding away. And trying to get plus one or plus two every week. Obsession. The question is, how do you focus on progression without obsession? That's like trying to say, how do you get through life without mental disorder, right? You have to be self-reflective. You have to be patient. You have to be a realist. You have to be a long-run guy. You have to enjoy the process. And you have to have a healthy respect for the process. You have to take notes. You have to monitor your progress. You have to say, hey, I made 3+1s on bench in the last 4 months. We're getting there. And if I just keep it up over time, I'm going to get there. So always track your workouts. Always ground things in reality. What's going on in the real world? Don't just run around flailing your arms like so many people. I have a plateau. I have a plateau. I have a plateau. No, you don't have a plateau. You have a patience issue. We want to track things. We want to, instead of flailing our arms like weirdos, we want to open up our training book, and those moments where we're like, I have a plateau. I have a plateau. I have a plateau. You open those training books and you're like, do I have a plateau? Hey, I gained 4+1s on bench in 3 months. Well, 4+1s don't sound like much, but that's 5 pounds on your bench. We have to found things. We have to track things. We have to found things in reality. So whenever you start to mentally go to war with yourself, that's when you look back at reality. Like, you can think like, hey, I'm the ugliest person in the world, right? Hey, I'm not going anywhere. This self-doubt type of talk. That's where obsession and misguidedness can enter the picture. But we want to track. We want to look at numbers. We want to be number people. We want to temper what is going on in our brain with the numbers, and use that as a form of a comfort blanket to see, I feel like I'm not making progress, but I am. So I just need to relax a little bit. I need to relax a little bit. There we go. Mr. Buddy Pal. All right, let's dive into things. Paul, what's the lowest rep range on pressing you'd recommend as strength drop on a cut? Basically, what Paul is saying here is, if you are on a cut on bench or overhead press, and your reps start to fall, long-term or longer-term cut, how low can your reps go before you probably should drop strength? Well, if you're in the 5 to 7, 5 to 8 range on a press, you're probably fine. You start dipping below 5, and we probably need to, drop weight a little bit. Rico, what's going on, Rico? What's all new in the works? Massive fitness equipment is new for those of you guys unfamiliar. I'm launching a fitness equipment line. It's not a fantasy. It's not a pie in the sky thing. It's happening in 2 years. It's happening now. Payment is in India to my manufacturer. I'm working with a solid manufacturing company, somebody that started out as a client of mine. And we are going to be a competitor to like Rep and Rogue, and Bells of Steel. I'd like to say Titan, but Titan, our quality is going to be light years ahead of Titan. And I have Titan equipment in my gym, so I'm not dissing Titan. It serves its purpose. But we are going to have, we're looking at putting together the best possible of everything. We just did a custom steel order, and we're looking at having the best steel in the industry, the best grade of steel. And let me just turn off the notifications here. Team Massive is blowing up when they should be over here. Naughty. We'll put them in the shame corner. So that's going on right now. We're in production. And these aren't just somebody else's racks with our name on it. We're building these from the ground up. We're working together. I got a really smart team that's been in manufacturing for a long time. They do everything in one place. So the benefit of that is we don't have to ship one thing out here, one thing over there, do this over here, do that over there. We're going to do everything in one location. And, we're going to have a quality product. We're going to have equally, if not better quality, and we're going to have a good price. So we're going to be very competitive in the market. Right now, I have a power bar, a bench, an adjustable bench, and 4 different types of racks. Those are going to be the initial products. And don't panic, we're going to add more products if we can establish that we can sell these. We're going to see how this business model goes. We're going to be very aggressive on pricing and quality. We're going to see what happens. And we got, if this works, we got all kinds of things that we're going to explore. So that's the major thing. Sales are probably going to be, launching in 2 to 3 weeks. Production's going on right now, and they're going to sell it fast the first run. So if you're interested and you want some home gym equipment, this is going to sell out quickly. All right, massive gang. What's a reasonable time frame to move past beginner strength levels, working out 3 days a week? I guess it depends on what you consider beginner strength levels. You can get a lot done in a year, and if you're training with me, if you would come to train with me, for example, in my gym, and we would be training together 4 days a week, 3 days a week, I would expect a lot out of you. I would expect within a year that you're in early intermediate strength levels. So basically in a year, we're getting you up to early intermediate levels, and the next, that's when the grind begins, the intermediate levels. You're going to be grinding away for years, moving that bench press, say up from 155, by 8 to 275 by 8, the long intermediate grind. So it's hard to say specifically. Every lift is going to be different, and some lifters are going to be better at some lifts. But, basically within a year, you should have early intermediate strength levels. What did I do my first year? This is certainly not bragging. This is just me walking into a gym in 1986. And what did I do? My strength levels were pretty weak. I had never squatted before. I'd never really done pull-ups or dips before. I'd never done any of the major dumbbell movements before. And never done leg press, leg extension. So I was really a rank novice when I walked into the gym. My bench was 95 by 3. After 18 months, my bench was close to 275. My squat was close to 315. And, the other lifts were pretty equivalent. I expect a lot out of people, especially if you're training with me. And, a lot of this is mental. Don't rule out the mental part of this. A lot of this is mental, going into the gym when you don't want to, pushing hard when you don't want to, expecting more out of yourself. Hard work, when you hear it on the internet, on YouTube, it's not just a program. It's not simply a program. 90% of this is mental, going for it, pushing, safely, getting that next rep. If I'm working with you and, if I see the effort's not there, I'm going to push you to get more effort. Let's go. Let's pick up the pace. Let's push ourselves. We're not here to mess around. Let's get everything we can out of this workout. 3 days grace. Hey, folks, join Team Massive. Worth it. At least for the random gifs. Team Massive is going to be expanding in 2023, and I'm working hard behind the scenes. So if it looks like I got bags under my eyes, I'm working long hours. And Team Massive is growing strong right now, but I'm going to be putting out a new platform. Team Massive got to see it this week. It's going to involve more group coaching features, because I'm going to try to move to open up group coaching more. where I can help more people, in a group coaching environment. You can come when you want to come. You can come for Friday freak video, post your favorite, post a video for form critique, or, check in Monday, post your weight and your calories, and I'll help adjust your bulk, that sort of thing. Not full blown coaching, but you can come and get the help you want, without a big price tag. Rico. About 2 years ago, you put together a unique 5-day frequency split free on YouTube, which was great. And he plans on revisiting it. That's called The Drunk Russian. And way back in like 2007, I created this program called The Drunk Russian. I had a weird idea that I wanted to try to train every day, but with 1 to 2 sets per day. So I'm like, I'm going to try this. Really, the heart of this was I was going to squat 4 days a week and then deadlift on Wednesday. So it was basically I was going to take the heart of this, where this idea came from was, let's say you're on 225 on squats. Monday, you do 225 for 6, Tuesday, 225 for 7, Wednesday, you would deadlift, Thursday, you do 225 for 8, and Friday, you do 225 for 9, or something like that. And then come next Monday, you'd add 5 pounds, and you just continue cycling those squat workouts. And that's kind of where the skeleton of the Drunk Russian program came from. You'd be squatting 4 days a week, deadlifting on the middle day, Wednesday or whatever, and then every day you would be doing some work for every body part. Like you want to mix up the exercise types and the rep ranges and the intensity. So Monday, chest, for example, you might do bench 2 sets of 5. On Tuesday, you might do push-ups or pec deck. On Wednesday, you could do dumbbell bench 2 sets of 10. On Thursday, you might do pec deck and dip superset, that sort of thing. Friday could be machine or plate loaded chest press 1 or 2 sets. So basically, you're getting in your weekly volume. You're just training 5 days a week, and man, I'm open to updating anything. If you guys look at that program and you want it updated in any specific way, just let me know. I'm always open for updating those programs. And I should probably get it in my app. 3 days grace. How and where do you feel inflammation after eating junk foods? The body will hold in water. Okay, first and foremost, when you flood your system with toxins, and that's a word that we toss around a lot, but basically, let's say you eat a big junky meal with a lot of sodium and a lot of sugar. That stuff's going to go in your bloodstream, and your bloodstream is going to pull in water, and it's going to try to water down things in your bloodstream. And it's going to try to water down things, like when you drink a lot of alcohol, your body's just going to hold water. And you're going to pick up some inflammation, just general inflammation in your cells. Your cells are going to have a tendency to hold water, muscle cells and your arteries and stuff like that. You get arterial inflammation, and that what happens over time is as your arteries expand and contract, they pick up cracks. Okay. And when these cracks occur, plaque starts to build up to kind of fix them. Like when you get a cut, right? When you get a cut on your arm and blood you get that goo that tries to heal it, right? That's what's happening internally on your arteries. As far as I understand, I'm no doctor. I just play one on YouTube, right? But that's kind of how it goes. So you get cellular inflammation, and that can translate to muscular inflammation. Like when that can be muscular inflammation as well. When I go out and run a long time, I'll get some inflammation from exercise-induced inflammation. So I can come back on a Monday after a half marathon and actually weigh more because my body's holding water, maybe to help expedite repair or whatever. But that's a different type of inflammation from eating junk foods. Junk foods, your body's going to pull in water to fight these toxins. And it can be just at a cellular level. It can be in your bloodstream. It can be in your arteries. Your arteries can become inflamed. And that's basically how you pick up issues, as far as plaque buildup, expansion of your arteries, inflammation, cracks form, you get plaque buildup, et cetera, et cetera. So, that's one reason to eat healthy food. But basically, long story short, if you eat a bunch of crap, your body has to kind of water it down to protect you. It's a form of poison reaction, right? So if you overeat, imagine overeating everything, sugar and just random processed ingredients that aren't even on they're on the WTF scale, and extreme amounts of sodium and then extreme amounts of alcohol. Your body has to fight those poisons. It has to water down your bloodstream so you don't end up in some bad way. I mean, the body is very reactive to poisons. Why do you think you pass out if you drink too much? It's a reaction to help you stop drinking so you don't kill yourself, right? The body is very good at that. And inflammation or water retention is one form of fighting against toxins. And I'm no doctor, but that's the way I understand it. Jamie Dickinson, related to Bruce from Iron Maiden. Hello, big hairy ugly dude. Do you sell any programs on your website that offer alternatives? Hey, Jamie, basically any program that I have, I mean, I provide program skeletons, program ideas. So any of my programs, you don't have to squat or deadlift at all. You can just swap in whatever exercise you want. For deadlifts, for example, if you don't want to deadlift, you could swap in a back exercise. You could swap in shrugs, squats. If you don't want to do that, you could swap in an equal exercise, hack squats, leg presses. So really, my workout routines, anybody curious, you head over to my website. I got my dog here. My website, superlivingtoday.com. Check out the workout tab. And they're skeletons, they're ideas, they're ways of training. They're to get you guys thinking. Like yes, I have exercise choices in the workouts, but they're not like you have to do these exercises, or you're an idiot. They're just more ideas. So if you don't want to deadlift, you just have to put in a comparable exercise, barbell row, dumbbell row, power shrugs, even RDLs if you want to do RDLs, and squats. If you don't want to squat, you can put in leg press, hack squats, leverage squats, really whatever you want, as long as it's comparable. So I hope that helps. And if any of you guys have follow-up questions on any of this stuff, you can head over to Instagram, @BenTheBarman, slide into my DM and send me questions, or just join Team Massive. Come on over and join Team Massive. This is really the time to join Team Massive, because yes, it's a one-time fee, but in the new year, Team Massive is going to be community and group coaching. So anybody that gets in now on Team Massive is going to have all the group coaching features for free, for free, for life. So now is the time to get in. Paladin, I'm sorry, I'm jockeying around. We got Mr. Buddy Boy, my little puppy, on my lap. Bulking in one meal per day. Can it be done? Man, I'm going to say something really crude here, okay? So hide the kids, hide the wife, plug your ears if you don't like adult jokes. I don't do a lot of adult jokes, but there is, this reminds me of something. There was a meme or a quote or whatever, okay? And this is adult, so plug your ears if you're a monk. Basically said, anything's a dildo if you try hard enough, right? Anything. You can do anything you want as far as eating if you try hard enough. The only thing that matters is the scale moving on a bulk. So if you can only do one meal a day, yeah, as long as the scale's moving. You just have to be super, super intelligent about it. Stein, how's it going, Stein? Welcome to the party. Can too much hiking, walking make it harder to progress? I don't know, man. I mean, at my peak, before I took up trail running, I was hiking every weekend prolifically. I would do my leg training. I don't know. I would hike on Saturdays and Sundays. Saturdays would be a big hike, and I never knew what to expect because I would always go to different places, right? So it might be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 miles. And then Sunday would be like a little short back off hike. I was single, right? Living that single life, and I had to do my laundry myself. So Sunday I had to meal prep. Sunday I had to do laundry. Sunday I had to do all that, kind of stuff. So I would go out and do a shorter hike on Sunday, 2, 3, 4 miles, maybe up to 5 if I had time. But I would probably do legs. I don't know, man. Usually, I think I did shoulders on Friday, and I think I would do legs on Thursday. So I never had any issues. I would just structure things so it made sense for me. And there'll be some break-in period, like if you're just going to go out and start hiking like I did or like Stein does, there's going to be some break-in period, right? So, we're moving around. Josh, megaroids, can mini cuts be more aggressive than traditional? Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, everybody fears cutting. Like, if you cut aggressively, you're going to lose all your muscle mass. It's nonsense. The biggest problem with cuts is stretching them out. The bigger issue with cuts is stretching them out into a long adventure, to the point where you're taking 3 or 4 months away from building muscle. So get the cut over with, get as aggressive as you can stand, and get out. You're generally not going to lose muscle mass because it's a mini cut, and as long as you're training properly. And even if you would lose a little bit of muscle mass, muscle memory is your friend. It'll come back. It's not like you lose mass and it's gone forever. What are you going to lose? An ounce, during a mini cut? Big deal. It'll come back. Hey, Robert, just a heads up. I don't, one thing I try not to do is have folks answer questions, in the live. So if just a respect thing, when you start answering questions for other people, then I have to respond to your responses. So if you don't mind, unless you have a question, guys, don't respond to other people's questions. Just a courtesy thing. It just streamline live, and it helps me a little bit, because when people start responding to questions, then I have to respond to the response to the questions. Doc Yak, if you have a few days off of a 12 to 16 week program, do you repeat it from the beginning? No. Sorry. Do you repeat it from the beginning of the week? No, I usually just skip to the next workout. I'm not going to take a whole week off just because I miss a day or two. If let's say my schedule is Monday chest, we're just throwing this out there for an example. Monday chest, Tuesday back, or Monday. Let's try this. Let's use the example I just used with hiking. Monday back, Tuesday chest, Wednesday off, Thursday legs, Friday shoulders. So that would be a body part split. Maybe you're doing an upper, lower, upper posterior, and you're doing it Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Whatever you take off, just do the next workout in order. You don't have to staple your workouts to the same days of the week. That's the best advice. And you certainly don't want to skip forward to the next week. So I hope that helps some. Thank you, Richard. I appreciate it. And Brendan, sorry. Is training a muscle once a week? Yes, it is. I can't stress this enough, guys. We need to move on past this. This fear is, I don't know, it's just too much. It doesn't matter over the long run. It doesn't matter. It's one factor out of a million. Muscle protein synthesis. All I've ever done is train once a week. 99% of the time. 99% of the people I've ever interviewed or talked to have trained once a week. Bottom line, you guys have to understand that this is a non-issue. It's you were programmed, and I fought against this for years. It's nonsense. Frequency doesn't matter in the long run. Do what you like. Absolutely, it's personal preference. If you want to do frequency, go ahead. If you want to do body parts, go ahead, but it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. And I've said this a million times, and I'll continue to say it. And anybody that elevates frequency above anything else doesn't understand the long-term process. Not saying you, Brendan, but any coach or internet expert out there in general. All we have to do is look at the body of work and all the people that have had, like when I first got in this industry, body part splits were the standard. And I've done a ton of body transformation stories and interviewed a ton of bodybuilders on muscle and strength and muscle and brawn over the days. And back then, 99% of them used body part splits. Now, back in the days of muscle and brawn, when I had my forum, we were the guys talking about frequency training. We were the guys that were bringing it to the table. And the bodybuilders, the split guys, are like, oh, you can't build muscle like that. So it works. It 100% works. And I don't say you, Brendan, but I'm saying in general, lifting has been inducted into a cult that believes that training a muscle group once a week doesn't work. That's complete and 100% patent bullshit. Ron R., how's it going? Dog in the house. We got Mr. Buddy Pal here, the newest edition. He sleeps by me. He's my buddy. He's got a bed right over here, and he sleeps by me at night. He's a good boy. He's a really good boy. He's the best good boy of all the good boys. And he's a really nice dog. He follows me around. You couldn't tell he's my dog. Dungeons and Dumbbells. Join Team Massive. You know what? I appreciate that. I give everything I can to you guys. And, I will continue to do so until the day I drop off this earth, because it's all about lifting and results and people for me. So this came in at 11 o'clock. Let's pick a winner chicken dinner. Paladin, I'm going to give you a T-shirt or hoodie. And Jamie, I'm going to give you a T-shirt or hoodie. So hit me up on Instagram, @BenTheBarman, slide them at DM. Give me your shirt size, your address, and I will send you a T-shirt or hoodie. Richard, hammer curl versus reverse easy. Does one trump the other, or are they pretty equal? We're kind of looking at training, this is more of an exercise that fleshes out bicep training. So you have your conventional bicep training. And let me see if I can pull up a picture. Hang on. We're going to see if we can pull up a picture of the Bicepticons and help you guys understand the musculature. I don't know. I don't have any good pictures here, so I'm not going to waste your guys' time with it. But once you're done with your regular bicep work, people do hammer curls or reverse easy curls to flesh out their bicep training, to hit some of the other muscle groups in the area that are part of the biceps or the side of the biceps, the brachialis and stuff like that. Does one trump the other? Well, I think it really comes down, like reverse easies they're really awkward for me on grip, because you kind of want to bend forward. The wrist kind of wants to bend forward. Hammers, I would have you, hammers are fine. Pinwheels are fine. I would probably kind of prefer hammers or pinwheels and reverse easies. That's just me personally. But if you like easies, go for easies. Harut, how's it going? Harut and Invisible. Alexander, elbow cough. Always cough in your elbow, unless you can't reach your elbow. Then you've leveled up in gains. You've reached it when you can't elbow cough, right? JP, can you give a strength and hypertrophy deadlift rep and set? Like, can you give a strength and hypertrophy? Everything is strength and hypertrophy that I do, JP. It's all the same. It's all the same thing. All the same. All the same thing. All the same thing. So when it comes to deadlifts. So I don't like 10 rep sets with deadlifts. Doesn't really matter what you do. 1x5 is too little of a volume. I like to keep deadlift volume weekly to about 25 reps cap. That's a soft rule. And, basically, I like to do deadlift threes. So start with a weight you can do about 7 to 8 reps with. Do max safe reps, drop 10%, max safe reps, drop 10%, max safe reps. I think that's the best place to start. If you want to do a 4x5 and do the last set max safe reps, you can do that. Really, you can do anything you want, but it's all strength and hypertrophy. So my rules would be try to create a system where you initially are doing no more than 25 reps per week on deadlifts, on floor deadlifts. I don't care what the set of rep scheme is, make something that works for you and just have a progression plan. Know how you're going to progress, and that'll be absolutely fine. Sebastian, I'm feeling fatigued the past week or two. Will I continue to progress if I reduce the weight? If you're fatigued, these are two separate issues. If you're fatigued, don't worry about progressing. If you're fatigued, take a day or two off, or deload the weight 20 to 30% and drop a set. When you're fatigued, the goal is to reduce your fatigue so you can come back stronger. In the long run, it's not going to matter if you take an extra day or two off. It just won't. And you can progress on one set. Volume doesn't limit how hard you work. So if I just had one set, if I just went down to the gym and had one set of dumbbell rows and I had to beat what I did last time, I can absolutely progress. So progression isn't tethered to how many sets you do. So we got kind of two different issues here. Aberrant, new to lifting, been stuck at 200 pounds while in a calorie deficit. If you're at 200, Aberrant, you're not in a calorie deficit. You're on maintenance level. That's what's going on. So don't screw that Fitbit. What you got to do is look at what the scale is doing and what your calories are doing. So if your weight's not moving, you're on maintenance level. Okay. Let me get a drink here. If your weight's not moving, you're at a maintenance level. Doesn't matter what your watch says. Watches just provide generic advice, a starting point. So what you need to do is drop calories by about 300, 350 a week. Run that for a week and see what the scale does. You should see the weight going down. Don't worry about inaccurate food labels, anything else. Worry about the variables you can control. And that is how many calories you got going in right now. Drop them by 300 to 350. Run that for a week, and you will start to lose weight if you are consistent. HB, just finished my upper B workout and slowing the reps down has finished my biceps in 2 sets. I got to stop rushing my sets. Yeah, you got that's one of the common things in coaching where you see people like no control, rushing, they're sprinting. We're not trying to do slow-mo training, but we're trying to control the weight. Number one, not to beat up the body. Number two, just to get a little bit more tension and work out of that set. Control that weight. Control that weight. Josh, Robert Leroy thinks it's his live chat. No disrespect, Robert, but it's just one of those things. Just respect the process. And I'm just going to be honest here. It's not Robert Leroy answers questions. It's me, and this is my time. And I'm not trying to be some guy that sits on top of his mountain acting like Jesus or anything like that. It's just more that when I do these things and people start answering questions, then I have to start, responding to the advice people are giving. And that's just kind of a time waste. Scotty MC. All right, big man. Do you think I should get grips? Yes. It doesn't have to do with small hands. I don't want you to get elbow tendonitis. I don't care who you are, where you live, in a van down by the river, in the woods with a stick, spearing fish, on the top of a skyscraper. I don't care what your goals are. You need to get VersaGrip Pros, because one of the top injuries you're going to get is the overuse of gripping, and it's going to lead to elbow tendonitis. And if you don't get you can get straps, but straps suck and they take forever to lock in. VersaGrips will last you forever. And it'll not only help you prevent elbow tendonitis, but allow you to move more weight. And that's what we're after. That's the name of the game. Invisible. I know you're not going to like this. Okay, thanks for putting me in that. No, I really don't like it. But I started doing one shoulder pressing set instead of two, and all my presses are finally going up. That's good. Just know you still need work capacity. So start doing one shoulder press. You mean just one exercise instead of two? I'd need to know a little bit more, or one set. I don't really care what you're doing as long as you're consistent, but just know that if your lifts aren't moving up, it's probably not the program. It's if you have two shoulder exercises, and you're probably not going to like this, Invisible, but if your lifts aren't moving up and you got two lifts in the plan, it's probably not the program. It's probably you, your weight, or your effort. Yush. Advice on tricepticon growth. Train at home with limited weight, a couple sets of adjustable dumbbells and bands. I do pushing movements regularly. You can do the PJR pullover. I'll repeat that, the PJR pullover. You can do the single arm dumbbell overhead extension. You can do dumbbell skull crushers. You can do tricep get-ups. Those are extremely hard. You can do supersets of tricep get-ups and then like dumbbell skull crushers or whatever. So there's a lot you can do. With triceps. Vinny P, what's going on, big Vinny P? If I had cardio to add calories and time training around there, would I benefit? In a general health standpoint, cardio is not going to burn a lot of calories, so you're not going to get a lot of calories back. So I would say it's a super inefficient way of earning calories. How did I earn calories? Generally longer hikes, where I'm burning like 1,000 calories a day. Then you can earn some back, but a little bit is just going to add a little bit. So, the question comes, do I want to trade time for 100 or 200 calories? That's a decision everybody has to make. Strongwise, what's up, Stein in nature? Big John, how to overcome fear of heavy weights. Suck it up. Every time I go above 4 or 5, I have major performance issues. It's mental. Suck it up. Focus on form. You got to get over it. You're not going to die. Jump out of the airplane. Focus on form. If you're standing there and your form is good on a deadlift, you're either going to come up or you're not. You're not going to die if you don't come up. Squat, you have to focus on form. So, when I was putting 600 on my back multiple times a week for the squat, I had to be laser focused on form. You have to. You have to be. You have to trust form, because if you're focused on fear, your form is probably going to go to shit. Asked this before, but I honestly forgot. No problem. What's the heaviest competition lean natural lifter you've come across? What's the heaviest competition lean natural lifter? Back in my day at Muscle and Strength and Muscle and Brawn, I interviewed a lot of top naturals, that were in the top natural competitions. And, you're not really going to find anybody at 5'10", above 183, 184, 185. You're not going to find anybody above 6 feet at like 192 on stage. 170, mid 170s to like 182. Basically, that's where a lot of the pros were, if I remember right, on stage. I need a massive banana. I need a massive iron bandana. I think I might be able to whip that up. The company that does my T-shirts, this is one right here, massive iron, and you can find that at superlivingtoday.com. The company that does my T-shirts has a lot of products on board, and all I really need to do is slap a logo on it and put it in the store. Super easy. Fulfillment from the UK, fulfillment from the US. And look, I don't make a lot of money. I make a cup of coffee off this stuff. I don't, No one that sells apparel online really makes any money. It's just more for those who want to support it. You make a couple, $2, $3, cup of coffee. Jamie, how should you workout change as you age? I'm 48 now, and I'm wondering if I should stop heavy weights. No, you just have to be smarter about them. You really want to focus on form. Sorry, I got a spam call coming in. You want to focus on form. You really want to have somebody that can look at your exercise form. And you want to make sure your form is nailed. And I would love to help. You can either join Team Massive for a one-time fee, and you can post form videos every week, so I can help you there. Or you can sign up for coaching. I can help you there. My clients get to do 2 form videos a day. So, but the commercial aside, Jamie, it really comes down to make sure your form is on point. And, don't buy into the things that you need to do. Like I need to train frequently. Sometimes for older lifters, training once a week and allowing recovery in between those big lifts is a really, really big thing. You have to really focus on recovery. You have to really focus on what exercises aren't treating the body right. And instead of, going for super heavy weight, like let's say somebody benches 315, right? As an example. Instead of trying to do singles and doubles and triples, you could do what I do. I go and try to do as many sets as I can with 225, right? So, I'm doing more volume work and trying to maintain my strength rather than trying to, set PRs, if that makes sense. Josh, it seems like the only difference 2 versus 1 week is muscle being swollen. Some people will say, you get this argument. I find it ridiculous. If you do a body part split, then every exercise after the first 2, you can't get as much out of it. Well, you know what? If you do an upper lower properly after the first 2, it's going to be the same boat. It's going to be the same boat no matter what. There's going to be a rate of decay, and you have to adjust your exercises accordingly. Like on my upper posteriors, a lot of lifters come in and do deadlifts and then leg press. And sometimes the leg press is rest pause. We are crushing your soul. We're a lot of times we're doing deadlifts, 10-minute blocks, leg press, rest pause, bulldozer style. And after that, if you're still alive, right, great. But after that, there's going to be a rate of decay. After those 2 exercises, you're not going to really want to go hard and heavy. And it's no difference on a split or like that type of posterior workout. There's going to be a rate of decay. So it really doesn't matter, right? It really doesn't matter. And I just want you guys to relax, enjoy training, focus on the things that do matter, long-term, the long-term grind, enjoy it. Don't force yourself to do a type of workout that you don't want to do because you think it's optimal. Optimal is staying consistent over the long run. Hey, big, hairy, ugly dude. For muscle and strength, do you recommend timing your rest periods? No. If not, how do you gauge when you're ready for the next set? When you feel physically and mentally ready to go again, get after it. You don't want to be breathing heavy, especially on big compound movements. So you want to feel physically ready. You want to feel mentally ready, like I can focus on form. I'm not discombobulated, right? I'm not in a state of confusion. So rest between sets can be fluid. It can vary set by set and day by day. Some days you might feel tired. Some days your cardiovascular system isn't recovering as quickly. Don't worry about rest. Don't worry about it. Don't force it. Don't worry if it's extended for a set. Focus on the big picture. It won't matter at all. Rest will not matter at all. As in, muscles always feeling full on 2 days a week, but no difference on overall progress. HB, looking forward to hearing these on Spotify as well. I'll try to get them up. I've been slacking, and I apologize for that. I would say reverse easies are more of a forearm exercise. I would tend to agree. They kind of hit my wrist in a really awkward way. And you guys might be different, so let me know what you think. But for me, Easies, I just don't like that. I don't like the forearm or the wrist wanting to bend forward. I always feel like I'm fighting it. And for that reason, it's not my favorite exercise. Haru, can you go over how different attachments, grips on cable rows, pull downs, um, you know, are they going to attack different parts of the body or the back, maybe to a minor degree? I don't worry about that. I don't over worry about that, to be honest with you. Is exercise variety, can it be a good thing in hypertrophy muscle building? Yes. Do you need to over obsess about it? No. Usually on seated cable rows, I use a V-bar because V-bar feels good. Sometimes I do wide grip. And I adjust the weight after warm-up based on feel. It's okay to use a couple attachments to get in a little bit of variety. You don't need to. And they are going to target, look, trying to do, trying to analyze specifically what percentage of a muscle group is targeted here, there, and where the shift changes are. There's so many different attachments, and I'm not trying to be dismissive, but what I would say is it's okay to stick with one. Sometimes I do V-bar attachments on lat pull downs. It's okay to alternate between two, so that can kind of be a fun thing and a nice way to stave off boredom. I don't really worry about, like what is 72% here, what is 28% there. I kind of look at, I take a shotgun approach to my training, and the broader spray you get, of the shotgun pellets, the better. So that's my philosophy. I hope that makes some sense. Andre, just adjusting things a bit. If you were to train the way Vince Guarana used with the circuits, how long should you do it for? If you want to try a Vince Guarana type of workout, I would probably ease into it the first 2 to 3 months, 2 to 3 weeks. Ease into things. And after that, start running. Let the body adapt to the demands of the type of training you're doing. There's going to be a 2 to 3 week initiation, and after that, I would start attacking. But usually, I'd probably aim for 3 months. After that, probably be a good idea maybe to, move on to something a little bit more conventional. But it doesn't hurt to give it a try. All right, guys, we are 53 minutes in, and we're rocking. I got about 10 questions left in the queue. Just want to encourage you guys to post up questions now. I'll stay on as long as you guys have questions. And I don't like to do the last call at the last minute because I always end up having people post the questions once I hop off. So post up your questions now, and we will stay on. Before I move on, I want to let you know I got Mr. Buddy Boy. This is my newest dog. This is Mr. Buddy Pal. My wife's trying to call him Patches, but he's sleeping in my arms here, so I'm hunched over like this. All right, what do we got? Sebastian, is the gains difference between? No, it's Sebastian. Don't worry about that stuff. Start with a number of sets that work for you and evolve exercises based on needs. There's none of this stuff matters. None of it matters. It doesn't matter. It does not matter in the long run. Start with something that works for you and evolve your training based on needs. Volume doesn't matter. A reasonable volume. That's a reasonable volume, so it doesn't matter whether you start at 9 or 12. Do you mainly listen to your body when choosing between heavy or more medium weight based on do you mainly listen to your body? No, I listen to the progression approach. When choosing, I don't choose. And I'm not trying to be dismissive, Noda, but I have a plan and I stick to the plan. I don't choose based on feel. Feeling doesn't matter when you go into the gym. I feel this way. Sometimes I can feel tired. You're going to feel tired and you're going to go into the gym and you're going to absolutely crush progress. How we feel is a lie, right? If you have an injury, yes, then that's something you have to adjust for. But how I feel, on a given day, I do not give a shit how I feel. I have a workout. I have a plan. I'm executing the plan. We are marching forward. So if you are warming up and something feels off, then you need to either abort mission or deload. But I'm not going to do it because I don't feel like following the plan. And I'm not sure if I'm understanding your question correctly. So maybe you can clarify. Do you mainly listen to your body when choosing between heavy or more? I stick to the plan. I have a plan. I stick to the plan. Doing only inclines for chest. For someone who doesn't really care about strength standards, will that build more? There's no issues with doing only inclines. I am, though, of the belief that it is probably best to do a flat variation, incline variation, 2 incline variations, maybe a dip, and your overhead pressing to get it well rounded. You're not going to, if you just only do inclines, I don't think you're going to see that much of a difference over 5 or 10 years. I really, really don't. I think if you focus on a broad, if you focused on a broad approach, say flat, incline, dips, and overhead variations versus a very strict approach with only incline variations and overhead, I don't think you'd see much of a difference at all in your physique. That's my opinion. But there's no harm in trying one or the other. One, how threes, what's the main progression with the 10% drop sets? The top set is always, for threes, the way threes go when you're starting them is you're going to have 3 sets. And you start with your top set is about 7-8%, something you can easily do 7-8 reps with. So you have 3 sets. You start with a weight that you can do about 7-8 reps with. Your second set, you back off 10%. Your third set, another 10%. In each of these sets, you do as many safe quality reps as you can. So when the first set hits 7 or more, then you'll add 5 pounds the next time. So let's give you an example. Let's say you're doing bench press 200. Your second set would be a 10% drop, which would be 180. Your third set would be another 10% drop, which would be 160. So you have 3 sets on the bench, 200, and then 2 back-offs, 180, 160. All 3 of them are performed for maximum safe quality reps. We don't want any grinders. We don't want any bad form. We don't want anything beating up our body. We're trying to progress safely. Now, on the top set, if you hit 7+ reps, then you would add weight the next time. So if you're using 200, 180, 160, the next time you would do 205, 185, 165, you'd add 5 pounds to all 3 lifts. So I hope that helps some. I saw your 15 rep squat, and you mentioned that at some point your cardio gives out before your muscles do. Do you feel that happens more often than lifters realize? If you're doing, there are certain lifts that are just taxing from a cardiovascular standpoint. Holding a weight off the ground is going to eventually send your heart rate rocketing, even if you're doing nothing with it. So like on an RDL, the time that you're actually holding the bar can eventually cause your heart rate to rocket. That's something that happens with me. Same thing with dumbbell rows. When I'm doing a 200 by 20, it's like I just sprinted because I'm holding that heavy weight off the ground for such an extended amount of time, even if I wasn't lifting it. Squats, you're holding that weight on your back. Even if you don't squat, if you unrack, say, 80% of your max and you just walk it out and you sit there, eventually something's going to give, and your heart rate's probably going to start to spike. Your lower back's probably going to start to feel weak. So yeah, it's definitely a factor, especially when you're doing lifts where you're holding the weight off the ground, heavy weight off the ground, or heavy weight on your back. I am doing one shoulder pressing exercise a week. That's what I assumed. All sets for max safe reps. When I was doing 2, I was regressing. I got to tell you, Visible, that's generally, if you're only doing 3 sets, that's generally you and not the program. I'd have to look at diet. Are you in a surplus as weight? Something else is broken there, and it's not It's not the fact that you were doing 2 exercises. That's not normal. Maybe your work capacity. It could be your work capacity is my dog wanted to get down. Your work capacity could be subpar. That doesn't mean you should stop working on it though. So a lot of things at play here, and I'm not going to assume what's at play, but I would definitely have to know more. Juan, to add to your rest time answer, I typically look at my BPM on my Apple Watch to see if it's back at. Yeah, you can do that as well. I think whatever method you want to use is fine. Whatever works for you. For me, I've been doing it for so long, I can kind of tell. So whatever works is good. Are you a fan of Mike Menser influence training? I have some interesting Mikey stories. Over the years, when I posted or mentioned his name at Muscle and Strength, or I would get emails from his people, whoever's running his legacy. We didn't give you permission to speak his name. That's basically how they act, man. I'm not even kidding. You think I'm lying? And I'm saying not you, Josh, but if you guys think I'm lying about that, those people were weird, in my opinion. Just weird, like cult weird. We would mention like Mike Menser, heavy duty, in an article as a reference. And these people would, shit out in Oregon. They'd be like, we didn't give you permission to mention his name. Like, last time I checked, I don't need permission to speak. Thank you very much. So these people were just nutbags, and I hated dealing with them as an editor. Talk about the arrogance of somebody. I didn't give you permission to say my name. How about go fuck off? Really, I'm trying to help people, right? Are you guys trying to help people? You're trying to look like idiots. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure his camp is still like that, run by some lunatics, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. They might not be lunatics in real life. That's my opinion. But man, his camp, in my opinion, has some weird things going on. But that was 10 years ago. So I don't know what they're like now. I don't. Maybe they've changed. Maybe they've come to the Lord, right? Who knows, right? But his influence to training. I think there's a lot of good things you can glean. More than my dog trying to get under the cuts. A lot of things you can pull from his training. But there are some things that don't make sense. Like, you don't want to push every set to failure, especially not deadlifts. I've seen people doing deadlifts to failure, doing his programs. I've seen Mike training people on video, pushing people deadlifts to failure. There's just some bad ideas out there. So like anything, there are some good ideas and some bad ideas. And we can't like blanketly say everything is good and everything is bad, right? So I know that's a non-answer, but Mike came in and he questioned things, which is a great thing. Mike also came in with a bunch of pseudoscience and pseudo-intellectualism, and basically, like intellectual bullyism, acting like he knew something that other people didn't. And, some of it was good. Some of it was horse shit, in my opinion. But we have to be willing to try with anything. When we see a tool, let's try it in the gym. Have I tried everything in the gym? Yeah. I've tried slow-mo training, everything you can think of, I have tried. So not sure if that answers your question. No, not in the long run. You want a controlled eccentric. Don't try to do the slow-mo stuff. No, it's not going to build more muscle over time. You want to control the weight. You don't want to slow the weight. You're chasing one variable. You're looking at one tree in the forest. And this is dangerous ground when it comes to building muscle. We don't want to do that. You want to control the eccentric. Now, there's guys out there doing lat pull downs that look like they're a rabbit having sex, right? You want to control the weight. You want to get good tension out of that set. You want to control it so you don't beat up your body. But doing slow, like if you're doing a slow eccentric on a lat pull down, there's a way to do that properly even, and a way to do that improperly. So for example, on a seated cable row, if you're doing a slow eccentric, okay, or lat pull down, you're doing a slow eccentric. Sorry, somebody's drag racing down the street. Um, there's a way to do it right and wrong. You can, like on a seated cable row, if you're fighting it at your hands, you're not really working your back as much as you could. If you're fighting it at your elbows, like pushing your elbows back to hold the weight, then you're fighting it with your lats. Does that make sense? Same thing on a lat pull down. If you're fighting it at the hands going up, it's not as intense as if you're fighting it at the elbows, resisting at the elbows. Like when you drive a seated cable row back, you're driving your elbows back to get more of a back lat feel. Same thing with a lat pull down. You're driving your elbows down to get your lats involved. But if you're doing a negative, if you're not fighting it the opposite way at the elbows, you're not really working the back. So you want to focus on control. That has benefits, but don't over control it because it's just going to become really tedious. No need to slow things down. My dog hopped down now. It wants to get back up. It's getting really obnoxious right now. DGs. Got my bench up to 285. Well done. That's strong. Trying to creep to 315. Wood. And trying to see if there's a follow-up. I don't see a follow-up. Looks like I got cut off. So we got time, so post it on up. Aberrant, thoughts on Orange Theory? I don't have any idea about Orange Theory. I don't know what they do, and I'm not trying to be dismissive. I just literally have no idea what they do. With any lifting, if you want to build muscle, stick with convention. Stick with progressive overload. And if you want to add general fitness stuff into there, go right ahead. I had running into my lifting. I like to do body weight work. I like to do calisthenics. I like to do jumping jacks. I like to do weird things. It's okay to add conditioning and general fitness work into the mix. Just understand there's a way to build muscle and strength. There's convention, and then there's other stuff. So I don't have a clue what Orange Theory does. I'm not trying to be dismissive. Not trying to put them down anyway. I don't have a clue. Never been in one. I know of them. I've drove past them. But I simply have no idea what they do inside their building. Mike, do you see any issues with tracking progression if you alternate cable attachments? Not really. I just look at what I did last time. So there's going to be a minor difference if you go with a V-bar or a wide grip. But, I know what I did. I just kind of base progression off what I did last time with that handle. And you're all good to go. Yush. I'm not sure if I got the exercises for triceps right. PJR pullovers, correct. And tricep get-ups. Let me see, guys, if I can find a tricep get-up without music in the background. Because if I play music on here, then it tries to take the video down. That's just the world we're living in. Let me find tricep get-ups. Okay, just hold on. They're a hard exercise to hold on. Sometimes they're called tricep planks. Let me see if I can find them there. Just hold on. Let's see.
Did you know that half?
Whoop. I had an advertisement come on. Hold on. I think I got one. Let me see if this is it. We got to go through the ad. We got to go through the thing. We got to go through the intro. We got to go through the spiel. Okay, she's in a plank position. All right, this is it. This is it. We found it. All right. Let me show you guys what a tricep get up is, okay? This looks easy. This looks like a very easy exercise, but it is not. The first time I tried this, I'm like, this is going to be super easy. I'm going to be able to do a lot of volume. And lo and behold, not a chance. So this is just a rando oops, let me get my head down there. This is just a rando channel. But watch, you get in the plank position, and then you do, okay, down on your elbows. Okay, let's back it up a little bit. Down on your elbows, you push up with one side, left, and then you go back down, and she should push up with her right here. Now, she's doing one side at a time. You want to alternate left, right, but you see you're pushing up. And this looks super easy, right? But trust me, it's a lot more challenging than you think. You can use this at home as part of a superset. And spiel over. Stop screen. You can use that at home as part of a superset. And it's a lot more challenging than you think. I really was surprised by that exercise. I thought it was going to be super easy. I thought it was going to be super manageable. So you got PJR pullovers, you got tricep get-ups, or tricep planks, or tricep extension planks, and then you have single-arm dumbbell overhead press. HB, would you make any changes to a body part split if the goal is to peak for a powerlifting program? When you do a peak for a powerlifting program, the goal of a peak is to it's kind of always awkward because one hand's doing this and the other hand's doing that, right? So a peak, you want to reduce fatigue while maintaining strength. So during a peak, you'll kind of reduce the amount of assistance work you're doing to 2 sets and then 1 set and let your strength shine. So you don't really want to change programs during a peak, if that makes sense. So basically you're doing the same type of program. You're just adjusting how you lift going in as far as weight and as far as your assistance work. All right, a lot of good questions, guys. So keep them rolling. LV King, how do you work in incline bench on a push-pull liggy? I'm doing a barbell and dumbbell volume, flat variation per workout. So I did a video yesterday where I showed you guys how I build a push-pull legs from scratch. I like to have two push days. So alternating between push A and push B. So push A, you could do a barbell bench. Push B, you could do an incline variation. Same thing with dumbbells. You can alternate between the A-B workouts, if that makes sense. What's the most mileage you've run consistently? We ran about 12 to 14 hours a week for about 3 years. At least 2 years, 2 or 3. So that's what we did consistently. So we always timed it in hours rather than like we'd go out each day 2 hours. And on Saturdays, we do our long runs. So it's more about the hours and whatever we'd get in, and this is trail running. So, you got a lot more challenges. Things are going to be a lot more difficult and it slows you down. And you're doing this in the snow and you're doing this in the heat, so you're running over streams, you're running up mountains. So we didn't worry so much about distance as we did just overall time, if that makes sense. Rewatch Tombstone. Val Kilmer steals the show. I haven't seen that in forever. Rosen, you mentioned deadlifts to failure, and a question occurred. How do you know how close to failure you are on deads? I don't push either of those close to failure. I don't. When you feel form starts to break down, let me get the puppy back here. When you feel form starts to break down, or you feel like your form is going to start to break down, or you feel lower back pressure, you need to stop a set. You just need to stop. Always play safe on squats and deads. Just do safe quality reps. You'll kind of learn over time. That was a grinder. That was a little bit tough, and you want to stop your set at that point. All right, guys, we are an hour and 15 minutes in. I got about 6-7 questions in the queue. Post them on up. I'll stay on as long as you guys have questions. And Noda, are there any special ways to deal with fatigue caused by heavy sets? Been trying to get over 150. Not really. Nutritional consistency is very, very important for lifting. And being patient if your work capacity feels like it's not up to speed. You want to be patient and allow your work capacity to develop. Don't just back off because you don't have that work capacity. Just keep doing what you can do and let that work capacity develop. Push yourself. Do you follow any mobility? No, I don't. I'm not saying mobility work can have benefit. It's not my specialty. It's not my area of expertise, and I leave that up to the experts. How do you approach pain issues with clients? It's part of coaching is dealing with issues. So we try to isolate the issue. What's causing the pain? Well, first off, if there is an issue, we have to assess: is it major, minor strain? Minor strains and pains and aches and niggles and tweaks are part of lifting, and they're unavoidable if you're training hard. It's just the physical part of strengthening. You're going to have minor war wounds, and there's no way to avoid that. Anybody that thinks you can, really doesn't understand the nature of physical pursuits. So what you want to do when you have an issue is initially do an assessment. How bad is the issue? What caused the issue? So on squats and deadlifts, let's say you pick up a lower back strain. Is form contributing? Okay, what do? We continue to work on form, but maybe it was a one-time issue. We just, in that case, you rest, allow it to heal, you return to battle, and if it was a one-time issue, it's a one-time issue. You continue to work on form. If it's a recurring issue, like I have clients that with recurring lower back issues, they come to me having been inducted into the cult of barbell, and they have to squat or deadlift, or they feel inferior, and their lower back's getting beat up over and over again. We will lighten the load, work on form, and kind of move those lifts to the background. So everything is very meticulous troubleshooting. You have to assess if it's just a one-off. You have to assess the cause as best you can. You have to provide a short-term cure, and you have to monitor it. As far as if somebody has major pain or a major medical issue, they need to deal with that. I'm not a doctor. No coach is a doctor. Professional sports teams have specialists. They have strength coaches, and they have doctors, physical therapists, and all kinds of things. So, any coach, if you've run into somebody online that is not trained in that sort of thing and is just trying to give you advice, that's a red flag. Because just because I'm a strength and muscle building coach does not mean I'm a mobility expert, does not mean I'm a physical therapist. So I'm adept at troubleshooting injuries because I've been lifting for 38 years. But pain is just going to be a one-on-one thing, a case-by-case basis. Henry, I just pulled a pec from bench. How can I recover as fast as possible? Well, what you need to do is, first and foremost, look at when's your next pressing day. Okay, when's your next chest pressing day? Is it 3 days from now? Are you doing a frequency program? Is it 7 days from now? Are you doing a body part split? So we have to what I would like you to do is on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being worst, right? Holy cow, I feel like absolute crap from this. 5 being I feel absolutely perfect. Write down in a notebook how you feel. Do I feel like a 3 today? Tomorrow I feel like a 4. So we want to kind of monitor it. How is it feeling? If the best thing to do if you pull something or pick up a strain is to not assume you will be 100% the next workout. So you could feel good in 2 days, but that doesn't mean the issue is fully recovered. Sometimes it can be masked. So you want to go into, if it feels ready to go again, you have to go into the gym with a mindset there's a chance that it is not ready to go. So you do your normal warm-up sets and you listen to your body. And then you do your first working set. Just be very, very cautious. If anything feels odd, you pull the plug immediately. If it feels off, you take more rest time or you deload, but I would take more rest time. A muscle pull, you're really not going to have long-term damage unless you go back in, you try to do your normal workout, and it feels extremely compromised, and you put yourself in a position where you can maybe pick up a tear or aggravate it. I keep breaking my leg training partners. I keep breaking my leg training partners. Sorry, I was trying to piece that together. My knees hurt a lot, even my upper body when I do push-ups now. I don't. I'm too heavy. My vitamin D deficiency. No, vitamin D isn't going to cause your knees to hurt. I think that says I'm too heavy. If you're overweight, your knees are going to hurt because of your weight. Weight is going to place extra pressure on your joints, and that's the cause. Do you need to get out in the sun to get get that vitamin D going? Yes, but if something's hurting, it's probably not the best exercise for you. All right, guys, last call for questions. We got 2 left. Get them in now. Standing dumbbell flies, low to high, are they a waste of time for upper pec? Like a cable crossover, I have to say I've done them, and I have to say it's my least favorite lift for chest. Is it a waste of time? No. Can it be done correctly? Yes. Is it my least favorite lift? Yes. I think pec deck has a greater progression opportunity. Most cable machines, you can't really do a lot of progression. I remember being in like 20s or 30s on a cable stack, and like you move up in weight and all of a sudden your reps drop like by 8. So a lot of it's leverage. If your leverage is working on your cable stack and you can progress, have at it. You can do rest pause work. You can do drop sets. There's a lot of stuff you can do to utilize it at the end of a workout where it wouldn't be a waste. I don't think it's a meat and potatoes exercise. I think it's an exercise you do at the end of a workout when you want to do a weighted, or you want to do like a burnout, or, like a coup de grace, you want to do a finisher or something like that. John Paul, does 2 to 3 hours moderate cycling in a cut bad for gains? Well, remember focus on what you're doing on a cut. The purpose of a cut is to cut weight. So get in, cut the weight, and get out. Okay, we're not worried about gains on a cut. We're worried about losing weight on a cut. That's our focus. Do your workouts. Don't worry about progression on a cut. You're not going to back off. You're not going to train weekly, but you don't have to over-obsess about progression on a cut. Get the weight off and return to your bulk. Now, Mr. Singh here says he's 84 kilometers and 5'9". So I'm not sure what the issues. If your knees hurt a lot, I'd need to know more. You said that your knees hurt during upper body work. If your knees are hurting during push-ups, something's going on. You need to get it checked out by a doctor. Henry, should pendlay rows be treated like a compound move? They are a compound, correct? For back, no, they're not an isolation. They're 100%. They're one of the big beefier compound movements. So 100%. Natural muscle pumping. Sorry, I said that as a funny. It wasn't a mistake. How long do you think you can go all out as a natural? I've heard drug lifters do 6-week gains in 2 weeks. I've gone all out for 38 years. I've never heard drug lifters go 6 weeks and then 2 weeks maintain. I've never seen that in my life. That's somebody on a one-off case. Drugs don't make you superhuman. I've gone all out for 38 years. I'll let you know when I'm done. All right, guys, that's it for today. I appreciate you joining me. Come back. Whoop, we got another one popped up. How hard should you be willing to go to get that +1? I mean, not even get it. You don't want to compromise form on your deadlifts or squats. Excuse me. There are some lifts that you don't want to compromise form. You want to live to fight another day, but on every other lift, you go for it. There's no downside. You need to get in there and attack it. Every lift. How long do I stay in a bulk? If I just want to get to 200 pounds and stop, check out my book, Nicholas, called Massive Bulking. Head over to my website, superlivingtheday.com, or search Massive Bulking on the main page of this YouTube channel for more information. You want to stay in a bulk. If you want to get to 200 pounds, it really depends on how you look. You could lose 10 pounds and then bulk back up to 200, lose 10 pounds and bulk back up to 200. It depends on your goals, and I'd really need to learn more, so I'm not being dismissive. All right, guys, that's it. I appreciate you joining me. I'll talk to you next week on Thursday. Please head over to my website, superlivingtoday.com. Join Team Massive. Please join Team Massive, and I will see you next time.
It's not almost over. You're not almost there. You're not almost there. You're not almost there.